beautiful day in the city of Lagos, and you're watching the show Meet the Boss, brought to you by ConnectNigeria.com. I remain your humble host, William Tuzumba, and today we have a very special edition of the show. We are at the premise of Rack Center. The name Rack Center, when you hear such name, what comes to your mind? Well, sit back, relax, and we'll be right back after a short commercial break to unveil the curtain as regards to that name, Rack Center, and the brain behind the brand. Stay tuned.
Grow your business fast. Log on to ConnectNigeria.com.
Welcome back to the show, Meet the Boss, brought to you by ConnectNigeria.com. I did say before the short commercial break that we're reaching you somewhere in the heart of Ikeja, and today we have the unique privilege of being in the premise of Rack Center, and we are going to be talking to the MD CEO of this wonderful brand to share his insights as regards to what the brand itself represents. Please join me as I welcome to the show today the person of Mr. Ayotunde Coker. Sir, you're very welcome.
Hello, thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting us to your humble abode.
Pleasure.
Good. Now, sir, for our viewers, or those watching today's episode, I usually start my first question usually goes in this way. It's becoming a tradition though. Who is Mr. Ayotunde Coker and what's a typical day like for you?
Yes, Ayotunde Coker. I'm from Abeokuta in Ogun State, born in Ijebu-Ode. I went to St. Gregory's College in Lagos and went to King's College Lagos for my A-levels. My father was the first Surveyor General of the Federation, first African Surveyor General of the Federation, and I picked a lot of my inspirations from that, I guess. I was fortunate enough to have won the Shell Scholar Award, sponsored by Shell, to study mechanical engineering in the UK.
Okay.
I studied at the University of South Wales. And then went on to the 2000s, with the age of the internet and so on. I was digital services director at Egg Bank. That was the first pure play internet bank in the world for a couple of years. And then went on to be global applications director for BP, for corporate functions in BP, the oil major, the global oil major. And prior to coming to Nigeria in 2009, I held the role of Chief Technology Officer for Criminal Justice in the UK and the CIO for Criminal Justice. Okay. I was attracted to come back to Nigeria by Access Bank as the Group CIO.
Okay.
A role which I took on in 2009. I'd had it in my mind actually for some time about really coming to play my role in the development of IT. But in 2014, I agreed to take on the executive role here as the managing director for Rack Center. We've been live since October 2013, and we've not had a second of downtime ever since. We were also the first in many, many ways in terms of global quality, the first to be Tier 3 certified in Sub-Saharan Africa, and so on. So that's Ayotunde Coker in a nutshell.
That's like a very hefty portfolio you just recited, but beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Now, which brings me to my next question. I mean, the viewers, they've been hearing the name Rack Center. What exactly does Rack Center do?
Okay, so I've given a bit of sort of summary about the gestation of Rack Center.
Yes.
You mentioned about my typical day. I don't have a typical day.
Okay.
I really don't. But I generally have a long day interspersed with focusing on client issues, focusing on what we do with our operational excellence and so on. I do travel quite a bit in Nigeria and also internationally because we're building an Africa brand anchored in Nigeria with global recognition.
Okay.
And what Rack Center does is it provides data center colocation at scale, similar to what you'll find with the global brands like Equinix, Rackspace. Some people who know what these data centers. The data center in the industry in the world is actually quite large. It's quite significant because it underpins and powers a lot of what happens with the internet and with telcos and so on. Some choose to build their own data centers, or you can choose to co-locate. Okay. With high quality co-location facilities, there really isn't any need for anybody to be building a data center because it takes time, it really needs specific expertise to do it at quality level, and actually soaks up significant amounts of capital. And if you're a bank, for instance, you're putting a lot of what is core capital that you require to invest in the front end of your business to show up a capital base in a data center or something that is essential for the business, but a critical facility, but is a non-earning asset for that business. For us, it's our business, it's our bread and butter. We've received significant numbers of global awards in recognition of what we do. It's a key one is the Data Center Dynamics Awards, EMEA Data Center Dynamics Awards in the UK. We were the first African company, data center company, to be a finalist in 2014. In 2015, we were the first to be a winner in any category for any company from Africa. In 2016, we were a finalist, and we're unprecedented finalist in 3 consecutive years in 4 different categories. So it's some of the recognition of what we do. And therefore, we believe the trajectory we're creating here, that we will be seen as an example of, say, an Equinix Rackspace of Africa, delivering services at the same quality as anywhere else in the world.
So I still have some more questions to ask you, but at this point, we want to go on a short commercial break. I'll be right back. So viewers, stay tuned. You're still watching Meet the Boss. I'll be right back after the short commercial break.
Looking for the best events? Log on to connectnigeria.com.
Welcome back to the show, Meet the Boss, brought to you by connectnigeria.com. We're still in the house of Rack Center, and we're still talking to the MD CEO, Mr. Ayotunde Coker. So before the short commercial break, you did mention extensively the role the Rack Center brand plays in the Nigerian economy. But I still want you to shed some more light, especially as regards to security of data, hosting them locally as against streaming it over the Atlantic and back. Shed some more light on that.
Okay. If you host data abroad, you've got the latency. Latency is the amount of delay you get when you're traversing many, many thousands of kilometers of connectivity from where you are to where your data is held.
True.
Or where you are to where your internet
provider
is resolving your request to where your data is held. Imagine all of that means that your own experience as a user of the information is distorted. That latency is those many, many milliseconds that actually have an impact. So if a broadcaster was hosted on a cloud service in the US, for instance, and most of your consumers are in Nigeria, where 180 million people and rising, then you've got significant customer experience issues. It's much more efficient to be hosted here. If you're a business that's hosted here, the interaction is instantaneous. You don't have that issue. So we've talked about the issues of security, as I've talked about, sovereign data to an extent, and also practicalities of performance. We have the capability now in Rack Center to provide web hosting here. We host our own website in Rack Center that we've brought back here to Nigeria from an international provider. The performance is instantaneous. So it's now possible for organizations and businesses in Nigeria to host their websites locally. Yeah, and you get the benefits of performance, and also, you're paying a local provider to deliver those services to you.
Beautiful. Now let me take you on that and head up to my next question. SMEs. There's no way we can talk about SMEs on today's episode of the show. First of all, what's your take about the SME market in Nigeria, and how do you think the RAC Center brand, the RAC Center ideology, can key in to help out in that sector?
Okay. Pardon me. With respect to SMEs, there are a variety of dimensions on my take on SMEs. Okay. We have about 20 million SMEs in the country, and that's a significant amount of SMEs. If you then say MSMEs, the numbers are around about 30 to 34 million, depending on, but let's look at the 20 million.
Yes.
The population of Belgium is about 11 million. The population of the Netherlands is about 18 million. So we have a group here that's almost even the whole Lagos State population, but even more than some of these very successful economies.
Yes.
Now, those economies are actually very strong due to the strength of their SMEs. If you look at Germany, one of the key bedrocks of the German economy is the German SME. The SMEs actually deliver in the value chain of the corporates, so they cannot be successful without the SMEs. So the efficiency of SMEs is a fundamental success factor for any economy. But for our SMEs in Nigeria, we have to make sure they have two dimensions to this: access to a competitive IT services at an affordable entry point. And locally hosted cloud services allow them to do that. They're able to get the IT resources they need. I won't go into the detail of that, but there are different sort of resources you might need: email, your enterprise resource, and so on and so forth. But you get access to those resources at an affordable entry point, and you pay as you go and you pay as you grow. You don't have to find the 20,000 or 30,000 or whatever amounts of money you need for computing facilities. Buy a mobile phone, buy a laptop, plug in, you can run your business. Those kind of facilities we deliver. There's another aspect to the SMEs. You have IT and ICT SMEs, who are the innovative companies, and it's amazing what's happening in Nigeria right now, who need to be able to bring their innovations to life with affordable technology.
Well said, sir. Now, still on the SME issue, there is no way we can't also mention the government. Now, what would you say the government could do? Of course, the government at all levels, from federal to the state and to the local government, can do to support both SMEs and brands like RAC Center with what they are doing, especially considering the fact that there are some challenges that businesses face, and I know RAC Center would have these. So what do you think the government can do, and are you reaching out to the government to see how to work around them to help the SMEs?
Yeah. And in working with them, with the government, sure, we do. We do everything. We're passionate about growing and shaping the technology landscape in the country. So there's a whole range of things that can be done to enable SMEs. I've talked about the role of RAC Center in that. Now, the role of government, also there's certain macro interventions that government creates the right context, but the private sector has to execute and get on with it. You can't get a government to do the right thing. And the right context also is also ensuring that we have an environment that enables us to reduce interest rates of loans and funding to the SME community. The efficiency of funding is a big issue. And right across the board, actually, it's not just SMEs, even for larger organizations. And there's a variety of things that we have to do, the government has to do in terms of strategic fiscal policy and strategic monetary policy to create the right environment. The banks are commercial entities. They will do what's right for their shareholders. But the key thing is to drive the right systemic context that the banks operate in to make them do the kind of things that will enable them to support SMEs. That's what the government can do. If you legislate to a bank that if you don't do this, it's that. Therefore, you're now moving away from a market environment which is actually naturally more efficient and dynamic. to a controlled environment that then causes skews. And by creating the right framework and drive the right behaviors to deliver the right competitive outcomes, that's where the government can influence what happens with SME.
Lovely. Now, so we're fast coming to the end of today's program. But you did remember at the beginning I said today's edition is special. Special because you have the privilege of being one of the speakers at the forthcoming Connect Nigeria e-Business Fair. Now, what are we to expect from the little snippets we've seen today? What more are we to expect from you on that day?
Well, certainly we're very excited at the prospect of the fair. It has a huge potential. We will be very present at the fair. We will, as I've been articulating here, playing our part in getting SMEs to understand what the possibilities are. On a broader scale, actually, because it's not just about RAC Center. Yeah. I say this very much on what we do. Of course, it's about RAC Center and what we do, but it's not about RAC Center in terms of the impact we want to have on the economy. It's about the country. When we go abroad and we win awards, when I'm not there, the narrative I discuss with my team is if we win, it's about Africa, it's about Nigeria before it's about RAC Center. So there's that aspect that we're pushing. We're participating in the SME event for that reason. There's another aspect of, as you mentioned earlier on, the awareness of what we're able to do as RAC Center and the contribution to the SME community. We want to make sure that there's an awareness of that, but we're also there to learn. We're also there to learn and listen to what the SMEs have to say so that we're able to modify and tune our products and services to be relevant to what they want. So it's a dialogue that we see going on in the event there. And, if anything, we're going to show up powerfully and make sure we play our role in making sure it's an outstandingly good event.
I bet you will. That's RAC Center, the next 5 years. Yes. Where do you want to see RAC Center in the next 5 years?
Well, we've made a comment that, why can't we be the RAC space of Africa or the Equinix of Africa even in the next 12 months? And certainly it's a trajectory we're passionate about and we're on a journey to. We thought we would be the co-location data center company of Nigeria. We see ourselves as actually the core infrastructure provider in Africa, okay, and we're scaling ourselves towards that trajectory. And why not see in a few years' time, Africa's homegrown, technology reference point of scale, quality, and world-class capability. That's what I'm not particularly precise on this. But I think it gives you a broad view on what our vision is. Certainly not just to be here and to do what we do. What we do now is the anchor point of what we see as a significant trajectory as a Nigerian company, wholly owned Nigerian company, okay, with Africa reach, Africa, so brand, homegrown brand here that has world-class recognition internationally.
Sir, it's been lovely. It's been lovely.
Pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much.
So, and we're looking forward to having you speak more at this year's Connect Nigeria SME e-Business Fair.
Thank you.
Well, viewers, you've heard it all from the MD CEO of RAC Center, Mr. Ayotunde Koka, with the wonderful insight he's giving to us about the brand itself and how the role it plays in the Nigerian economy, especially towards the SMEs and even bigger organizations. Remember, you can always watch the episode of today's show on our YouTube page, and also you can hook up to our website, www.connectnigeria.com, and check out all the various videos we have, not just the one for today, but many other wonderful videos. And you can also interact with us at our social media handles at Connect Nigeria on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Until I come your way same time on this wonderful program, Meet the Boss, brought to you by ConnectNigeria.com. I remain your host, William Tuzonga, telling you to keep a positive mind, and the sky might just be the beginning of your success. Bye, guys.
Need a house? Log on to connectsnigeria.com.
If you like the video you just watched and want more, subscribe now. To watch more videos, click on Watch More Videos.